And there I was the girl from Suits.
This one's wife. Harry is raging. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Harry certainly does have a temper. He's known for it. It falls under the cliche of redhead being somebody that has a fierce temper. And it's undoubtedly the case that Harry has those strong narcissistic traits of resentment, argumentativeness, and anger. So that in certain instances, the emotional empathy which he does have becomes reduced, and those traits, amongst others, come to the fore, causing him to act in a defiant, argumentative fashion, where he exhibits resentment for the way that he is treated, and he responds with anger. Anger can often be a useful emotion. It can, in some instances, be entirely justified and aids a person with regard to achieving something. They channel their anger into a more physical workout, so they get those gains. It might be that their anger at an injustice causes them to fight harder to overturn the injustice, or cause them to gain a sudden burst of strength and power so that they can do something that helps somebody in a moment of urgent need. Anger is different from fury. Fury is the preserve of the narcissist. And if you want to understand more about the distinction between the two, and also how fury serves the narcissist, I would recommend that you read my book, Fury. It's available on Amazon and also in the Knowledge Vault, link in the video description. It will help you understand a lot more about people's behaviour. I recommend it to you. But what of the Prince of Pink Pancakes? Why is he raging? What's made him so angry? Well, according to Matthew Acton, writing for Radar Online, disenchanted Prince Harry is angry and frustrated at how his new life living the promised American dream has turned into a behind-closed-doors nightmare, locked in a Rapunzel-like tower with his wife, this one's wife. Sources have revealed that 5 years since the Duchess of Sussex set in motion the plan that would see them quit the British royal family for a new life of freedom in the United States, Harry feels like he was missold the idea. A mole revealed this one's wife sold their move to America as a way for their family to be happy, free, and relatively normal. But that doesn't seem to be the case for them and their kids at all. Well, let's examine what's gone on there. Could it be that a narcissist would, in effect, missell an idea? Absolutely. It's called promise gain and future faking. Future faking is where the narcissist utilizes a future event to control the now. A common thing is to talk about, I want us to live together, or I want to marry you. Making such an expression to an intimate partner is seen as a particular commitment. And therefore, the recipient of such a comment is likely to feel pleased, thrilled, made to feel special, and thus will respond favourably. This then gives control to the narcissist, and the victim responds with positive fuel. Thus, a narcissist will regularly use future faking by making reference to some future event to control the relevant victim in the now. Promised gain is quite simply, if you do this, you will get that. It's a form of future faking by focusing on the fact that you do something for me, then you will get something out of it. You will get a gain. If you move to Canada and then America with me, Harry, you will gain happiness. You will gain a free life. Things will be relatively normal. And Harry, of course, in love with his wife, feeling that Britain has become a hostile place, primarily as a consequence of what his wife has been telling him, looks at it and thinks, I want to make her happy. I've always felt second best in the family. She makes me feel like a king. I want to be with this woman. She's painted this really rosy picture of life in the United States, where we won't be hounded by the paparazzi and we'll be free to make decisions for ourselves, that we'll become financially independent, that we'll go for long walks on the beach in California, and should we have children, it'll be fantastic. Or Archie is going to have a great time there, dependent on when she promised all of this to him. Accordingly, she will have painted it as a wonderful thing for them to do, because of course she needed to do this to control Harry, to convince him to go. And thus, she will have painted this picture of an idyllic life in the United States. Now, in order to be fair, it's not the case that this one's wife knew that life would prove difficult in the United States, but still said, hey, let's go anyway. She will have thought, egged on by her narcissism, that everything would work out okay. But it hasn't. Why? For two reasons. The first is that Harry finds himself in the sustained devaluation, so his wife's treatment of him is unpleasant for him. She, of course, will have made mention of the departure during their golden period, and, in the circumstances, would not have been talking about any form of devaluation at that juncture. Harry gets there, he's not under control, but his fuel has become stale, and therefore the devaluation commences. And he thinks, hang on a second, I thought everything was going to be happy and free and normal here. And yet we're arguing, and she's sulking, and she won't talk to me. What's going on? So the first point is that he's essentially found that it's been missold in terms of the dynamic in their own relationship. But alongside that are all the problems that they've met in terms of sinking popularity, ridicule, lack of offers, financial pressures, and so forth. Her obsession with celebrity undoubtedly has got up his nose, and therefore it is understandable that Harry feels that he has been missold the dream by virtue of, one, her sustained devaluation of him, and two, how the idyll that they thought that they were going to have in the United States hasn't manifested, primarily as a consequence of their own behaviours. The article continues, stating, since Harry and this one's wife have settled into their Monteshitchon compound in 2020, their kids Prince Archie 5 and Princess Elizabeth 3 have been barely seen in public. It's almost as if they are a family, like living like Rapunzel in her tower. Even the locals in Monteshitcho are puzzled. Archie and Lily are rarely seen with this one's wife or Harry at local events, like trick-or-treating at Halloween, for example. Harry is angry and frustrated at how things have turned out. He feels like he's been missold a life, plus he and this one's wife are also leading pretty much separate lives. It's like they are an estranged couple living under the same roof. The children are believed to attend a local school and nursery, and some online commenters have cheekily dubbed Lilibet Invisibet because the princess was born in California, has been seen even less frequently in public than her older brother. The biggest shock for Harry is that he thought he was raising his kids away from the royal family and that would give them more freedom. In California, though, the opposite has happened. In fact, Archie in Lilibet's world seems even more cosseted than his own upbringing as an heir to the British crown, the mole added. Despite their royal status, Harry and his brother, the now Prince of Wales, frequently travelled outside palace gates growing up. Their late mother, Princess Diana, Princess of Wales in particular, made a point of ensuring her sons enjoyed commonplace childhood experiences such as trips to McDonald's and theme parks. Harry thinks his kids deserve similar experiences, but this one's wife is resistant, the source continues. Following Megxit, the Sussexes have had their publicly funded royal security detail removed by the UK government. That perceived security risk exacerbated Harry's reluctance to bring his wife and kids back to the UK. Harry feels as if they are living in a bubble. He's beginning to think that if he had more freedom as a kid growing up in a palace, of course, while Harry, like this one's wife, will always prioritise their kids' safety, he's worried that Archie and Lilibet are missing out too. Now, to the extent this article is accurate, Harry may well be angry, given he is an angry individual, and it is commonplace for a narcissist to not only portray something which isn't accurate, but also, of course, she will devalue him and has devalued him and will continue to do so. And because of her behaviours, which he didn't anticipate, they have found that living in the United States is not what he thought it was going to be. And thus, one could reasonably conclude that he has been missold a particular life. In actual fact, although that feels like that to him because he was promised that they would have this great life and everything would be happy and free and wonderful, it isn't as if this one's wife knew that it was going to turn to shit. But of course, because she's a narcissist, that was always going to happen. It was always going to happen in their relationship because she was always going to bring the sustained devaluation, because that always happens in the relationship between a narcissist and an intimate partner. Always. It's also the case, although neither of them necessarily anticipated this, that because of her behaviour and then his behaviour, they become unpopular, that people don't want to partner with them, they become increasingly ridiculed, the A-list have turned their backs, the offers aren't coming forward, things have not got off the ground, they face repeated scrutiny and criticism, all of which Harry didn't think would happen, and therefore this adds to his sensation that he's been missold a life. Of course, it remains to be seen, will he do anything about it? And that, of course, is the big question. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.